At 0800 hours, the Strait of Hormuz becomes the center of a rapidly escalating crisis. A sudden flash tears across the cliffs of Keshem Island as 6 Nord cruise missiles launch and race toward the USS Eisenhower at extreme speed. Inside the carrier's Combat Information Center, every screen lights up with warning signals. American early warning radars are overwhelmed as Iran unleashes a coordinated anti-ship strike meant to send one of the U.S. Navy's most powerful symbols to the bottom of the sea. From Tehran's point of view, this is the decisive move, an attack intended to cripple the American fleet and set off a global confrontation before anyone can react. Nearly 5,000 sailors appear to have only 90 seconds to respond. But as the Aegis system comes alive and the entire scene hangs in suspense, something strange starts showing up on the scopes. Why are the missiles acting as if something unseen is forcing them off course? Is the Eisenhower really exposed, or has the IRGC stepped into a kind of digital battlefield few people even know exists? And the most unsettling part is that the real danger may not have revealed itself yet. By 0805 hours, the tactical picture in the Strait of Hormuz shifts from a tense standoff into something far more surreal. To understand how it reached this point, you have to look at Tehran's desperate calculation. Pressured by the overwhelming American naval buildup, Iran turns to Russian origin systems to prove that in the narrow passage of the strait, even the U.S. Navy can be vulnerable. Mobile jammers and Nord cruise missiles are deployed in an attempt to overwhelm the strike group through saturation and electronic disruption. This is not just a missile launch, it is an effort to distort the battlefield itself. Iranian jamming units flood the air with powerful electronic noise, creating as many as 5,000 false radar contacts on American screens. What should look like 6 incoming threats now appears as a sky full of fast-moving targets. It becomes a massive electronic illusion designed to force U.S. ships to waste valuable interceptors on false tracks while the real missiles close in through the confusion. And yet, inside the Eisenhower strike group, the response is controlled and deliberate. The American commanders understand that panic is the quickest path to disaster in a battle shaped by data and deception. Instead of reacting blindly, the USS gravely answers with a calculated display of electronic countermeasures. It launches a swarm of Nulka active decoys, hovering systems designed to pull enemy missiles away by presenting a radar signature even stronger than the carrier itself. These decoys do more than jam. They create a target that looks brighter, larger, and more convincing than the real ship. In simple terms, it is like trying to spot a candle in darkness while a floodlight suddenly turns on beside it. The Iranian missile seekers, pulled toward the stronger signal, veer away from the Eisenhower and chase the false targets into open water. To Iranian commanders watching from the shoreline, it may have looked like success. Their symbols were moving toward the target, but what they were actually tracking was a carefully built illusion. It was a trap built on technology, and Tehran had just moved straight into it. But the IRGC quickly changes tactics. Once it becomes clear that radar-guided weapons are being diverted, they turn to something more direct. Dozens of fast Zulfiqar boats surge forward, not simply to swarm, but to help guide a second wave of missiles using manual optical targeting. This move is designed to bypass the American electronic shield entirely. What began as a battle of signals now becomes a real-world closing trap, and the maneuvering room for the strike group starts shrinking fast. The question suddenly changes. Do you use your remaining interceptors against uncertain threats, or do you hold fire until the danger is unmistakably real? And just as that decision point arrives, the American response is about to shift from quiet precision to open force. At 0815 hours, the U.S. Navy moves from defense to rapid execution. To stop the second wave, American commanders identify the key vulnerability in the Iranian plan: the fast attack boats serving as the missile force's eyes. 2 F/A-18E Super Hornets launch from the Eisenhower and accelerate into the fight within seconds. These aircraft are not just fighters, they are precision platforms built for fast battlefield control. Using a PG-79 AESA radars and Link 16 data sharing, the pilots begin dismantling the Iranian spotting network piece by piece. It is a sharp demonstration of modern asymmetrical warfare. The Iranian boats are fast, capable of sprinting across the water at extraordinary speed, but they carry little protection. Under accurate fire and 20mm Vulcan cannon bursts, they are quickly neutralized. The Super Hornets do more than destroy boats. They remove the visual guidance network the missile operators rely on. In effect, they take away the strike package's ability to see. In modern naval combat, speed alone means very little when every move is being tracked by an advanced combat system. Still, Tehran is not finished. With its spotting network collapsing, Iran launches its most dangerous attack yet. A fresh salvo of 12 Noor missiles inbound in a sea-skimming approach. These high-speed weapons fly just feet above the waves, weaving through the surface clutter of the Hormuz waters to stay hidden from radar for as long as possible. They use the curvature of the Earth and the chaos of the ocean itself as cover, slipping under the defensive picture of the American destroyers. In an instant, the situation becomes critical. These missiles are no longer chasing false radar signatures. They now have a real path to the target and are racing directly toward the Eisenhower. The distance falls to just 5 miles, less than 30 seconds from possible impact. The F/A-18S are too high to intercept in time. The escort ships are being pushed to their limits, and the strike group suddenly finds itself facing a split-second test of everything it was built to survive. The digital shield that worked moments earlier is now under pressure from a low-flying wall of incoming fire. The entire scene balances on a single moment, with the world only one heartbeat away from total chaos. Could the F-18 dive fast enough to intercept missiles flying just above the waves? Or was the Eisenhower about to face its first strike? Share your thoughts in the comments and keep watching, because the final layer of the American defense network is about to be tested in a way few expected. 8:30 hours. The Strait of Hormuz is on the verge of becoming the stage for a devastating blow to American naval prestige. Despite the earlier Super Hornet attack, one Iranian Noor missile, a 13-foot sea-skimming hunter, built on Russian-influenced technology and driven by Tehran's determination, has slipped through the defensive web. It drops below the Aegis radar horizon, bypasses the outer escort ring, and races toward the starboard side of the USS Eisenhower. This is the scenario every naval planner fears. For decades, U.S. strategists have worked to prevent exactly this moment. The saturation barrier has been breached, and one of the world's most powerful warships is now staring down a high-speed threat closing fast. Inside the Eisenhower's Combat Information Center, the tension is overwhelming. The alarms fade into an eerie silence as every operator waits for the final defensive system to respond: the Mark 15 Phalanx CIWS. This radar-guided Gatling gun is designed as the fleet's last line of protection, capable of firing roughly 4,500 rounds per minute to shred incoming threats at close range. But as the missile closes to within about 1,000 yards, something unexpected happens. The Phalanx doesn't fire. Iranian electronic warfare teams trained to exploit vulnerabilities unleash a surge of electromagnetic interference that overwhelms the CIWS fire control sensors. For a brief but critical moment, the system locks up under the digital noise. It's a chilling second in the middle of the battle. The final shield appears frozen just when it's needed most. Brace for impact. The order echoes through the ship's internal communications. On deck, sailors can see the missile's exhaust streak cutting through the mist, now only a few hundred feet away. The air carries the sharp scent of ozone as the seconds disappear. To anyone watching the radar picture, it looks like the American carrier is out of options. The clock has nearly run out. But at exactly 0835 hours, just 2 seconds before the worst outcome becomes reality, the USS Gravely makes a move few would expect. The destroyer executes a violent, bone-rattling turn, pushing itself directly between the incoming missile and the Eisenhower. The maneuver is so aggressive, it nearly overwhelms the ship's own balance, but it puts the Gravely squarely in the missile's path. At the same instant, the ship's rolling airframe missile system activates at extremely close range. A flash. The interceptor slams into the incoming threat barely 200 feet from the carrier's hull. The missile bursts apart into fragments of fire and metal that scatter across the sky. The shockwave rattles windows aboard the Eisenhower, and burning debris rains onto the flight deck. But the carrier itself remains untouched. The fleet's flagship survives by the narrowest margin, yet the victory comes at a cost. The escort ships have burned through most of their defensive interceptors, stopping the earlier waves. Launch cells that were once full are now nearly empty, and the Iranian commanders know it. Hidden among the cliffs and caves of Keshem Island, new launch crews are already preparing backup systems for what they believe will be the decisive strike. The defensive shield around the carrier group is stretched thin, and the world waits as the IRGC prepares one more attempt to overwhelm the fleet. Was the Gravely's daring maneuver worth the risk if the strike group is now running low on defenses? Or did it only delay the inevitable? Let us know what you think in the comments, because the next move from the Eisenhower is about to change the entire tone of this confrontation. 8:45 hours. The Strait of Hormuz now resembles a modern-day arena where control of one of the world's most important shipping routes hangs in the balance. And then the Eisenhower does something completely unexpected. Instead of retreating toward the open Arabian Sea, the carrier slows and holds position right in the center of the strait. Every ship in the strike group suddenly switches its sensors to full active mode. SPY-1 and SPY-6 radars blaze across the electromagnetic spectrum, broadcasting a signal powerful enough to dominate the entire region's airspace picture. It's not just detection, it's a message. We're still here, we still see everything, and we're ready. To military observers, the move feels like a silent challenge, like two gunfighters standing in the middle of an empty street, waiting to see who moves first. Inside Iranian command bunkers, reactions swing between excitement and uncertainty. To them, the Eisenhower appears like a wounded giant, damaged, low on interceptors, and trapped inside the narrow strait. Believing they have a rare opportunity, IRGC commanders prepare their final all-in strike. Every remaining launcher on Qasem Island is placed on high alert. Crews rush to arm missiles for what they hope will be a massive coordinated salvo, capable of overwhelming the fleet once and for all. The situation now resembles a high-stakes standoff where a single decision could reshape the region. Tehran believes it holds the advantage. From their perspective, the American carrier group is exposed. But is that really the case? Does the U.S. Navy still have another move prepared, or has Iran finally cornered the king in this massive strategic chess match? Share your predictions below, because the final twist in this story is about to come from somewhere no one expected. 0900 hours. Iranian commanders finally give the launch command for their final strike. But instead of the roar of engines and the glow of ignition signals, something far stranger happens. Their command screens go dark, the targeting feeds disappear, communication channels collapse into silence, and on the black displays, a single word appears in white text: goodbye. While this scenario represents a fictional simulation of how a modern conflict might unfold, the layered systems, technology, and coordination involved reflect the real capabilities shaping naval strategy today. If you enjoy deep dives into modern naval power and high-stakes strategic scenarios, hit the like button and subscribe to Navy Vector so you don't miss the next briefing. The sensors are active, the board is set. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next deck.